All day, all night. Blake Scala on the pod. How's it going, Blake?
That's how you're starting? There's no intro?
We're still, this is round 2. We're still building
They don't even know who you guys are yet.
Ah, good point. I'm Zivian.
Hi, Zivian. I'm Georgia.
Hi, Georgia. I'm Dad. I'm Logan Gatenby. I'm the freshest to this bunch, and I'm here to learn.
You've got the most supple bosom.
That's really what this whole podcast is about: is me learning from the best, which is you three, the most diverse group in Pittsburgh comedy.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, since this is the second one, I think we should actually use the name that we decided on. So this is Comedyinz. Spelled, yes, naturally. Comedi. You know what? When you listen to this, you'll see the title. I don't need to.
It's a better visual.
Yeah, it's a very Comedyinz. It just sounds like what we are, but when you see it, I swear to God, you're gonna lose your mind. It's so funny.
I mean, if you're from Pittsburgh, you'll get it.
You'll
if you're
get
not from
it.
here,
It'll
you
make
won't
no
fucking get
sense.
it.
That's right. Wait, Blake, are you from? No, you're from
Newcastle.
Newcastle.
Oh, okay. Well, I think you were
40
from
minutes
Moon.
north.
Do they say yins there?
Everyone says yes. That's ridiculous. What kind of question is that,
They
Georgia?
say y'all.
Everyone
They
calls.
have a
South of the
giant
Mason
they have a
Dixon.
giant fake castle in Newcastle, and that's why it's called Newcastle.
Newcastle. Hey, we got a Newcastle.
Rena-
Where is it exactly?
Renaissance Fair.
It's like an Abbott and Costello. Like, where's our Newcastle? It's there. It's in Newcastle.
Blake, did you ever do cross country?
I did.
Really?
Did you ever do the Newcastle the castle run?
Oh, what
When
the
you-
fuck was that place called?
When you climb up you run up the hill.
They have fucking Renaissance fairs there.
Yeah.
No.
That's why.
What the fuck was that place called?
Yeah, that was one of the biggest meets of the year, and I
cried at that place.
No, yeah, I was a terrible fucking. I love running, but I was a terrible fucking runner, and I'd eat shit every. Every
Because that was like the state qualifiers.
Oh yeah.
So I was just like nervous, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking fake an illness right now.
That makes
I was
sense.
like, I'm so sick, coach, I can't. But I kept it up the whole way running because like your coaches will be along the route, so I'm like they can't see me looking good. So I was just and I collapsed at the finish line, and coach carried me back to the tent.
That was always my favorite part
Sick.
about cross country, just like sprinting towards the finish, and then just like being on the verge of throwing up as your coach is like, you could have done a lot better. Better next time.
What was your best time, dude?
I was shit. I had this disease, like not even kidding.
Oh,
It's called Osgood-Schlatter's disease, where you have fluid buildup in your
get a fact check on this.
Osgood-Schlatter's
Osgood-Schlatter's.
in your knees, and they fill with fluid. So I was not a very good runner. I would consider I'm an athlete. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For our viewing audience, I'm about 80 pounds overweight right now, but I can still do 90 minutes. In near max heart rate on an exercise bike. I don't give a shit, Zivian.
Okay.
I don't give a shit.
There was another time I injured myself like mid-run. I was like, I'm not going to finish this. So I took my cleats and I just started kicking myself in the ankles and like fucking up my ankle. And then I like walked back and I was like, some dude fucking, he fucking cleated me. And they take me to the nurse's fucking tent or whatever, and they start cleaning it up, and they're like, "How many times?"
Oh my God.
They're like, they're all going in different directions. It's like a crosshatch. What is it? I'm like, I don't know.
The whole opposing team just ran by.
Coach.
Kick on each.
Quitting sports was always the funniest thing to do. Like when I got sick of doing football because I just stopped growing, and I couldn't be an offensive tackle anymore, which was my favorite position. So then I just read the rule book, and I was like, if you get 2 concussions, you're off the team, like bar none.
Really?
So then I faked 2 concussions in one practice, and then I was just off the team.
Wait, they didn't take you out of practice after the first concussion?
What
Let
I did,
him cook.
You
Let
did
him
this.
cook.
You did this. The classic. I mean, I faked it, but like you do like a spearheading thing, like pick a big guy on the D line during practice, and you just spearhead him with like your helmet, and then you like flop on the ground like you're a starfish.
I see.
They run over and they're like, "Did you block out?" And you're like, "Yeah, I did for like a second, I think." And they're like, "Oh, okay, well, okay." Put me back in, coach. I can do this. I think I got him next time. You just do that again. They're like, "Did you black out?" And you're like, "Yeah." They're like, "You're off the team." No, there's nothing.
Something
Nothing to
for
do.
you here.
Yeah. And then my mom took me to the hospital to like get a concussion assessment, and then
Mhm.
I totally faked it there too. It was
You
like,
can fake an MRI. You can
I
I mean,
faked
you
a
could-
lot of fucking health
you
problems.
can put growths in your body.
yeah. I mean, I think I just like it's pretty easy to fake a concussion. You just
Oh
go,
yeah, you kind of.
"Oh,
Oh yeah, you do the.
oh."
Or like when they do the finger in front of your face and you just
Yeah.
like don't track
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Did you do sports in high school, Georgia?
Oh yeah.
Which
Yeah.
ones?
Well, I used to do a lot of them. I did basketball, softball, and volleyball.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I almost got a concussion in volleyball one time. There are actually like significantly more concussions in volleyball, but it's just you running into your own team members. And
Sucking-
we were warming up for this tournament, and this girl, like, she was one of our best servers, and she served straight into my face. And then
Nice.
I got to sit in the locker room with a nosebleed for the next 2 hours. So
Can you get a concussion from like a volleyball thwomping you?
Yeah.
yeah.
One of
Really?
the funniest concussions I ever saw live was this girl. She was like a goalie.
We're gonna do a top 10 list in a second, actually.
She was a goalie for soccer, and I knew her. She actually had a little bit of a crush on me, so this is kind of
Oh.
funny to watch.
Was that
And
before the concussion?
Somebody
or-
just like line drive the ball towards like the net, and she tried to get it with her hands, but it
Oh.
just hit her in the head.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
She was like jumping, and it hit her in the head. It's
like a
just
gunshot going like
yeah,
dunk dunk.
the slow mo of that would have been amazing.
That happened one time playing catch with my mom. That was pretty funny too.
Oh yeah.
Well, speaking of playing the games, playing games,
nice.
transition.
God, smooth.
We're all stand-up comedians. We're comedians. And one thing you got to do in comedy, and some of us at this table are better than others, is you got to learn how to play the game, climb the corporate ladder in comedy. It's
The
not
rat
corporate,
race, the
but there's a
funny
rat
rat
race.
Yeah.
That's true.
And I'm a young fledgling, and I've got the world in my eyes and
a chip on my shoulder and the world in my eyes.
and dust on my feet. And
Who's this kid?
who
With
is this?
something to prove. This little.
World Peace 2070. I think I'm gonna point this question initially at Georgia, because Georgia she's a marketer. They're a networker. Okay.
In theory.
How have you found your rise, Georgia? How do you play the game?
Honestly, I just talk to people at mics.
I'm
and
out.
then-
I'm already.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. Okay. I talk to people at mics and
The
then
worst people at mics.
fair. But no, I talk to people at mics, and then a lot of the time what happens is like if I talk to somebody, get them aside for a good conversation, then about 2 weeks to a month later, they might be booking a show, and I get a message, and I just assume that the conversations are what makes that happen. But
Yeah.
also, I am one of the few lesbian comedians in the Pittsburgh comedy scene, and
So you're-
one of the few
so you're
women.
saying
so
that
Playing the
sometimes
game. The
That's it,
long
yeah, that's
game.
ooh.
So what you're implying is we should all try to be lesbians.
Yes, absolutely. We need more. No, but I do think that it's interesting 'cause like I've had people like message me if like another woman comedian gets on a show and be like, that spot should have been yours, and you know, I kind of
How does that feel?
disgusting.
Yeah.
It was you, Zivian.
I did not say that. No way.
But no, I think there's like this weird thing where you get compared to other women comedians only, and I like to think, you know, maybe people are booking me 'cause I just have a good 10 right now.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, I think that is a factor for it. The other part is like I think it helps. I always share the posters for shows like
Mhm.
in the weeks leading up and try to like really promote anything I'm on. And I think it also is kind of like a feedback loop of like if people see you on posters, then they want to put you
Yeah,
on more
your face
shows
is out there.
beyond just the mic networking.
See, my move is to always, I'll share it on my story, but I only make it viewable to the person who booked me.
Nice. Fucking in case it goes south, you don't want that out.
Yeah, I just don't want anyone to ever come watch, which is not a good.
Yeah, we picked the
Like-
best guests
Yeah.
to talk about this.
I am anti the game. I avoid
No plan.
any self promotion whatsoever, which is Once again, not the move. If you're trying to make it anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The whole like sharing the poster thing, I got really chewed out on like the first or maybe like the second show I ever did. I was ever booked on. I just kept getting text after text after text from the guy booking it, like, "Hey, share this, tell people about it, make sure you're promoting, make sure you're promoting." I'm like, "Oh, totally, whatever." And then like afterwards, like it was a fine show. People turned up and it was good, and you know everybody had a great time. But he even after that came up to me. He's like, "When I say you need to share," I'm just like, "Okay, all right." And so I don't know. He was kind of an asshole, but
Gonna need to name drop after the podcast.
100%. Yeah. So that just I don't know. Put the fear of God in me.
If you guys want to unlock the exclusive gossip tier on Patreon, it's the third tier to find all the
It's
names.
3
that
more hours.
all the names that are bleeped out of this podcast.
Yeah.
Or book us on your shows.
Or
and
book
we'll
it.
tell
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see,
You guys should
see,
have called
there
this
it is
Hack
again.
Life.
Hack.
Oh my god.
Good.
I like that too. Yeah.
It's not
I mean,
bad.
it's not too late. It's never too late.
It's never too late to change.
Yeah, I think my approach, and I'm newer to comedy than these three. I've been doing this for about a year. Is it seems as though my material is hard for people to want to give to an average audience. For the viewing listen, I talk a lot about jail and being crazy and stuff. So I've been trying to take it the angle of like producing, trying to produce stuff with people.
That's what brought us here today.
Yes, and then using that to then, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Also, like doing art for people, making posters.
Oh yeah. For those of you that Logan is a very talented artist. So if you need like posters, graphics, if you need him to draw a picture of you with
porn.
for dicks for nostrils, he'll whip it up fast, whip it up fresh, get you out the door.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, we're all in the green room tier right now, so we're trying to achieve the greatness. Yeah. True.
Yeah. That is another avenue, though. Like, I think when I first started getting booked, it was like I got booked on like one show, and then it just kind of like spider webbed from there. So like also seeing people at shows got me booked on other shows after.
Yeah,
that.
if people see you coming to see the shows that they put on or book, they'll first of all they feel like flattered a little bit. They're like, "Oh, I put something together. You're watching it." But then also, yeah, they'll like you're in their eye line.
Yeah.
Basically.
And I think we talk about this a lot, and this is something I think about a lot is, I mean, there's really two ways to, because like a lot of people when they come to mics or they start coming, they're very new to comedy, or they're just curious audience members. Like, how do you get booked, or like what's the next step in comedy?
Mm-hmm.
And people always say, well, yeah, you got to do open mics for a while, get good content, and then you get booked. But it seems like overall there's two ways to get booked mainly. One is based on like merit, and then there's like networking, and it's like also it's a mix of those two. It's not just. But there's I know so many comics who are just like during open mics they have a million reasons why they don't get booked.
Oh yeah.
And it really normally comes down to either you need to get good or you need to get good at meeting people and talking to people.
Yeah, because there's plenty of
selling yourself.
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of very like okay comics who get booked very regularly, and I don't even really I'm not really shitting on them at all. I mean, they just they still go to open mics, they're still working on stuff, but you can still like get the ball rolling. Yeah.
Like I even heard this open micer the other day, and they were like, open micer, the slur. We'll bleep that out.
Just
But
leave the
But they were like, they were like, I just think it's ridiculous that I don't get booked just because people don't know me. And
Dude, you said it.
But I mean,
You said it, pal.
that's one of the big things, though, is that like I think there are people on the scene who don't regularly show up to mics, and it took months of like a solid 6 months of me showing up to mics 4 times a week.
Yeah, like every single
and
one. Yeah.
And yeah, I was getting progressively better at that time too, but like it helps because they eventually like see like, oh, okay, the person's like really pushing for this thing. And I think that like the first couple shows I had, I felt like I didn't necessarily even know if I had 10 minutes at that point, like 10, 12 minutes. And then I just kind of figured it out along the way, but I think people will take risks on you if they know that you're working at the thing.
No, that's true. Blake, what Like, what's like the longest set you do regularly right now? Like when you get booked on shows.
I don't get booked on shows.
That's true. That's why you're here. That's a good point.
This is
I had a good fall, and then it was October 3rd to like January 4th, 0 shows.
Dude, I had a really good like midsummer into like September.
That's my
September was just fucking
Yeah, that is
boom,
like
boom,
one of my
boom, boom, boom,
favorite
boom, boom.
movies.
What was the question again?
Well, I wanted to. How much time? I guess that was the question. How much time do you feel like you have? Like, what's like the highest number I could say I want you to do this?
I could like stretch to 20. I
I've seen
wouldn't-
you do 20, and it was a solid 20.
It was a 15 to 20 set, I think. And I did like
Mm.
17. That's like the longest I ever did was like 17.
Okay, no, that makes sense.
How much material you guys think you have to do for a? Because there's always people posting into the Facebook groups.
Oh yeah,
I
need someone with.
I need a comedian who can do 45 tomorrow.
Yeah, like right fucking now.
And I'll pay $15.
Yeah, I'll give you 20 shekels.
And then the comments are 15 people you've never seen.
Yeah.
Interested.
Spot. It's like that's not the word to use. That's
Or that
not
show
wrong.
Blake and I did where we got paid in goodie bags. Still
Oh,
have
that was
that
a
pen
good one.
eraser.
Did you guys get Reese's peanut butter cups?
You get a little
No.
Skittle?
I think there were some bubbles.
Oh my God.
Yeah, bubbles, a pencil topper.
You guys need to
Are you
stop
s-
doing birthday parties.
Are you serious?
You need to really.
This is-
Yeah.
is this
it was
legit?
it was a low key thing. They were testing it out.
That's kind of
but
funny though.
It was
I would
at the
even if-
time though, I hadn't been booked on a lot of paid shows, so I was like, "Hey, you know what?
Papa-
this pen is mine."
They gave you a
This
little
is-
notebook that said Papa's first show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there actually was a
Googly
little
eyes.
notebook in it.
If I was a book, I'd still pay people, but I'd put the money in goodie bags. Like there'd be nerds and like fucking sour straws.
I think if I told every joke that I knew had at least gotten some form of
Reaction, yeah.
response before, I think I have like 25 minutes.
And that's if you just went, okay, this one, okay, this one, okay, this one, okay, this one.
No, I mean there's categories. Like I could do like my whole jail bit and then
Mm-hmm.
psych ward stuff and then
So that's like a big chunk of something I've been sitting on for a while. I have, I think, like 8 minutes about the psych ward from beginning to end. Like what happened, jokes, tangents, blah 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 blah. Like I wrote it all out, worked on it for like months. But then I thought like, oh, I'm healthy now, quote unquote. I don't need to talk about this no more. I'm done. But like I literally like that's any set I do, I always think to the like in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, but I have that psych word shit, and if I did that, the time would go up. But the problem is that it's such a commit. I'm kind of a little bit of a baby, basically. I don't want to commit to 8 minutes if they're not even, because in 10 seconds if people are like buying it or interested, and I
Yeah.
don't want to.
You just got to have your exit ramps.
That's what it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
see, yeah, I mean that's another thing to talk about too for like writing material because you guys know like I am the biggest like anti-therapy person
Indeed.
of all time. Like just buckle up,
Yeah.
Tony, pull yourself up on
Yeah.
your bootstraps type thing.
Very
But a lot of
strong.
people use comedy as like their release.
Oh yeah.
Especially when they come on
Guilty.
stage. That's a big.
Yeah, I'm just up there because I'm an exhibitionist. But
Mhm.
what do you guys think about trying to mine trauma
Oh
as
God,
material?
I
It's
think
the only thing to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is where Blake and I align. I don't know. I've had like the worst days where I'm not gonna say the exact event, but a bad event happened in my life, and I just went in and just did like 3 weeks of mics just of a rant
Mhm.
that I wrote the day the thing happened, and I mean it's good material. I just can't do it now 'cause family members are involved, and I don't want to out
Mm.
them for other things, but. I think it's a good release, and sorry, Logan, my therapist also is a big fan. But also, I'm just gonna throw
She
this
likes
out
all
there.
my reels.
Since
True.
we switched topics, I'm just gonna throw this out there for my own good. I can do a straight 15 and gay 20. Anyway,
Gay straight 50.
I got more text.
Yeah, that's
for the
part of
gays.
my problem is that like I would have a bunch of time if we tell 5 long traumatic stories that I
Yeah.
have in one set.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't like telling stories at all.
Yeah,
for
I
one.
don't. It's too. it's what I'm saying. It's like it's a huge investment. Like you're like, okay, buckle down. We're gonna talk about one thing for 5 minutes.
That's all I can do. Honestly, when I started doing mics, it was always a 5-minute tangent about something that I just punched up along the way.
I can't do it.
But I'm trying to get more into punchier things.
Yeah, like quippier shit.
Yeah, and also not just talking about being a lesbian, but
there's definitely a fine line to walk.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's definitely people who go up there and they use their experiences as like a jumping off point, and
that has to be a jumping off point. Yeah.
To bring the audience in for then some kind of payoff. But then there's definitely people who go up there, and I think we can all think of people who do this. And they just
Patreon. You can find out who these people are.
And they just go up there just to trauma dump on random people at a bar on a Wednesday night. My baby daddy, etc.
What was her name? Something Cornelius.
Oh my God. Anyway, we're gonna edit.
I don't want to name drop her ever again, dude.
Yeah, fair enough.
She probably listens to everything I've ever produced.
But I think there's like a balance to what types of trauma work well on stage too. Because I think one of the funniest unhinged sets I ever had was the day after I got dumped last summer. Like that.
Dumping is something that.
Yeah. When I take a hot shit, I'm like, it's time to write.
Never go to the bathroom without a piece of paper.
Without 2 pieces of paper. Hey,
harmonized a little bit.
Dude, your first special, you're just on stage shitting the whole time.
It's a toilet, and I walk out. I'm bringing a stool with me.
Very dada.
Hold up, I'm starting to lose you guys. gotta let loose a little bit here.
I pick up the stool and I shrink it down into a palm size, and then I throw it in the toilet and I say, "How about that stool sample?"
Hey.
Anyways, my name is Logan Gatenby. You guys have been great.
That's good.
No, I think the name I came up with the name of my first special today, which I think is going to be
Rachel.
Not Getting Away with It.
Not Getting Away with It.
A memoir of being tackled by the police or something.
Ideas similar to that.
Yeah. Do you guys ever think about what you name your special?
Yes. Mixed success.
Rizsexual?
Rizzilla? No, fucking Christ, no.
What about you, Warder?
Yeah.
Name your special?
Either trailer trash once removed or my parents met in a mental institution. So
I do like the first one a lot.
I think both of those would be good. I mean, like your second special should be the second one. Your first special would be the first one.
Yeah. How about you, Blake?
I don't know. One that always keeps coming back. I don't even like it, but it just keeps coming back. It's praying for a misdemeanor.
I can relate.
Do you like with your hands together, like looking up at like a fucking police light?
If they would have found a single weapon in my apartment, I would have a felony.
Ah, damn.
I think like me face down on concrete in cuffs or something like that.
There you go. That's the intro sequence for you.
It's very Christ-like.
Very
Christ-like, yeah.
Ooh, that'd be a good intro sequence. You get arrested, they take you to the jail, and then they just...
Oh,
then you ascend into heaven.
Yeah, the bar, and then you meet your Lord and Savior. What? Are we joking?
No, it starts off, you're getting raped in the showers. Okay, they get you out, you dry off.
They get you out.
Yeah, you're on the ground bleeding.
That's a prison rape
The
evac.
security guards come in, they pull you out.
Oh, my God. Christ in heaven.
Here's a question.
Take the stage.
Here's a question. How can you what's the first sign you could tell that somebody's not going to last in doing stand up? You see them at the bar. They're very excited for their first 2 or 3 times.
Well, this question is hard because like the people who don't
they bring
last,
a bunch of friends the first time.
No, that's a good that's true.
Bring like a group of like 7 people.
And not just like a friend. Yeah, like 7 people who.
Blake's just saying that because we saw a first timer crush the other night.
Oh no, he
with
did
a group
murder.
Of friends, but
that was the best first set I've ever seen in my life.
God, it hurt my feelings.
My first set, I just ranted about trying to tell my parents a Hitler joke while I was in Squirrel Hill, but every time I would try to get to the punchline, a rabbi would pop around the corner.
Christ.
No, that dude. Like normally, if there's like a new person, I'll be like, "Hey, that was a good set. You know about the other mic?" That guy, I'm like, I'm not telling him about any mics.
Yeah. We all
There are
left
no other
immediately.
mics.
Yeah,
Everyone
We just have Bottle
don't talk to
Rocket
him.
once a
Yeah,
month.
this is actually sadly this is actually the only open mic in all of Pittsburgh right now. It's once a month.
Yeah.
Oh, you just
Yeah.
missed every other opportunity to be on a show with
Yeah.
me.
There's no Facebook groups. There's no community
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think like you can tell somebody's not going to make it. One, if you don't see them back more than once a week, I think that's kind of a sign. I mean, there are people who pop in once a month and do it, but those people at some point, most of them have done it, a few times a week. Like they're coming back to it. And
yeah, they're
I think the other thing is like how they respond to bombing.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
a
say
big
that, yeah.
way
oh yeah.
to know.
You can see
Yeah.
you can see somebody who's new who walks off and they're like, "Damn, that didn't go well, but I want to change this joke and I think I could do this a little bit better."
Yeah.
But then there's people who walk off and they're just like defeated for the rest
yeah.
of, for the
Yeah.
rest of the night.
When you bomb, you should be thinking about what you should.
Yeah, the
would
wheels should be
Yeah,
turning.
no, I mean, it's okay to be upset. Like I get mad,
sure.
but I mean, yeah, you should be
The Bohinski effect.
the Lohinsky effect, indeed. No name drops, huh? No name drops.
No, we're gonna bleep that out too.
Fair enough. Rachel Cornelius.
Oh, Cory Booker, the senator from New Jersey. He's kind of hot, right?
Blake,
I don't know.
You've been doing this. Actually, are you the longest or is Zivian the longest?
Actually, we've been doing it the same amount of time.
Dope.
Wait,
Okay.
What was
when
your
did you?
starting
You guys
date?
are arch rivals.
My
we should say this on the podcast. You guys are arch rivals.
My starting date was I started fall, like late fall of 2019.
Yeah, it was October 4th, 2019.
Yeah, so more or less. Did you do any
Yeah.
shit in 2020?
There was Parkway once a week.
Oh yeah.
I mean, not the whole 2020. There was like, March 12th or something. Everything shut down, which would have
Yeah.
been my first arcade show. The day of my first arcade show, everything fucking shut down.
Think of where you'd be.
Think of the trajectory.
Oh man, you'd probably down. I mean,
I just want to say I've never been more angry at myself than I am in this moment because I did my first mic in fucking February of 2019, and then I did 6 months of it and fucking stopped during the pandemic.
I mean, yeah, it's not. But I would say, yeah, I guess we're like the same
but
kind of
no,
comedy age.
you guys are definitely older comics than me. That's fair.
I am. Oh God, I'm not.
I never
fucking
did a Zoom
comic.
one. I couldn't do
Oh.
those.
They
It was
were
gonna
agony.
feel gross.
They were
yeah.
very pain. It's like you do them, you do Zoom, you do 60 Zoom mics, and that's when you kind of decide that it's okay.
That's fair.
That's as
But,
long
I
as
mean,
it takes.
I will say on comics not lasting, the version of myself that did comedy early on was the version that it was not going to
It was-
last because I was too inconsistent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like
Well, that's another thing too. Is I mean, you really have to have like a certain rhythm. You have to practice a lot.
when I started, I was like, okay, I'm going to make it to one mic every other week.
Oof.
And it
That is not
instantly
enough.
became, oh my God, okay, it has to be 3 a week. And
Oh,
then it was
yeah.
4 a week. And now it's just as many as.
Yeah,
As
if you
I
wait
can
until you
physically
feel
do.
ready to go again, you're fucked.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just
Yeah.
so many there's
Yeah.
just so many things that you unconsciously or semi-consciously learn by doing open mics.
Yeah.
And that's like my main beef with people who have become niche players or bit players and they do like fire halls.
Satellites.
Yeah,
Comedy satellites.
comedy satellites.
Yeah. Because honestly, I get like some of like my best tags and stuff have been moments on stage where either I said something wrong but it was better, or I
Oh,
just
yeah.
felt comfortable behind a mic
And you just
tried
yeah.
stuff.
There's no way to recreate that in
Yeah.
your room with a piece of paper. Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. For me, when I was first starting, I would spend, because when I started stand up, I mean, I was writing just like fucking pages of shit. And that was exactly what it was. But then I would go to these mics and like the stress of the mic, like the adrenaline would get me like all cooked up. And then I'd go up on stage, like
let them cook.
let them cook. And I
Let 'em
cooked.
cook.
That I did. And when I would go up, I'd have like, okay, I could say this shit about like what I'm wearing or about like what's, in the room right now. And that would always hit, because that was always the like panic driven, like punchiest possible thing kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't even like practicing at home because I think It's not. It makes, at least for me, it makes me not naturalistic on the mic. I would rather
get you caught in a script. And
exactly,
then,
and then people can hear that.
You get thrown off when anything different happens when you're on stage. You know.
I do rehearse, but it's only like literally so I can just keep the words in my head. That's
I just
literally
listen back to recordings
Well, that does help.
If I start trying to practice a set at home, halfway through I'll be like either I'll like hate a joke and want to rewrite the whole thing, but like I always get distracted before I actually get through the full set. So that's why I have to do like a recording.
I think it. Well, I think it's like there's sort of like an attention limit. I think when like you like there's like a conversion rate because you'll write a joke, there'll be like 5 punches. But, like, realistically, you'll always drop 2 of them. You'll always drop 2 of them when you go on. So, to me, like, that's why I don't do, like, whole sets. I'll just do, like, the same joke over and over and over and over, like, standing here, standing there, put my foot there, just so that, okay, God damn it, when I try this joke, I'm trying the whole thing. You know, because I wrote 5 punches. I'm going to say 5 punches. That's the only, for me, that's, like, the main benefit.
I used to have such a fucking strong work at pre-pandemic fucked me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you know, it's on me, but
started getting that government dole.
No, when I started off, I would go up as many times as I could in a night or whatever. Then I'd go home. I would listen to every fucking set. I had like a fucking lit where I would write out every joke that I did during that set. I would write how it went.
Yeah.
And then if I was gonna do those jokes later, I would go back and like type in that joke. And see like all the versions that I have, which ones were good, and I would listen to the good ones and the bad ones and shit like that.
Okay.
Every fucking night, and I haven't done it since the pandemic.
That's
honestly, I think that's doing shit like that is how I think I've improved the most.
Yeah.
Doing things like
being very anal about shit.
In software engineering, we call it the agile methodology.
Oh my god.
But anyway, no, just like after every set, running to a corner and thinking what went well there, what didn't go well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then reviewing that.
I would do this thing. This is like my version of this. I would listen to my sets back, and I would transcribe them longhand. Like I would write every single in cursive with a quill, and then I would give it I'd give it to a raven, and he would take it to Blake's house. I'd be like, try this.
Straight in the trap.
No, but I would write out every set, but this was specifically to get rid of like filler words, like like so. Anytime I would say those, I would write that in red.
I would slap myself once.
I would fucking. Yes, the belt just.
Lord.
So now I cry more during my sets, but I don't fucking skip a beat.
You put all the ayahs in green though, because that's a punchline.
No, but see, it worked. It helps with retention, but it also totally made me a lot less, you know.
I mean, that is helpful for that because I have a lot of like nervous things I say on stage. Like,
yeah, we all do. Yeah.
And I used to. I remember Blake one time early on. It was like 3 or 4 months in. I asked you to listen to my set and just give me any advice you had.
Oh yeah.
And you were like, you through laughs, like you don't. Do like I was expecting like all this content feedback, and you were like, no, there's like other aspects of this. And I think that's when I started getting better, was when I started paying attention to like the little pieces.
Everyone has a story like that.
I'm not trying to gas Blake up right now, but
that's when
I will
put it
say
all together.
that is another way to get booked. Just so you know, that's usually my intro line
to gas people up.
No, seriously, I will ask people like, hey, you've been doing this longer. Like, what's your favorite part of this? Or, like, do you have any advice? That kind of a thing. And I know it can be obnoxious depending on the person.
That's probably why I don't go get booked so much, because
you don't ask people shit.
I just go up to people and I say...
You go up to someone who has never made you laugh one time, and you ask them for advice.
Actually, yeah, that's exactly what I did, Blake. I know that
I know that a joke...
Names.
I know a joke is solid if I can get Blake Scala to laugh at it. So...
Who's Blake Scala?
Who the fuck is Blake Scala?
Grace.
No, that's right. That's like the whole like umming through laughters. I think I would like step on punchlines a lot. Like I would say a joke, I'd say a punch, it would get a laugh, and then I would just like the moment they popped, I would immediately move on to the next thing, just like talking during what's happening. And
Yeah,
that's, you know.
That's one of the problems I run into with the storytelling type sets. is that I'll have like a punch in the middle of a fucking sentence.
Yeah.
And then I'm waiting for the laughter, and then half the time I'm like, okay, do I just go ahead and hit it with the next one, or
no? It's tricky because you don't want to fuck up your cadence too. Like
Yeah.
you want to like you want to bask in it, but you also don't want to totally like just
lose them.
like
yeah.
look at them for 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's,
What would you guys say are your like biggest pet peeves that like hack ways that people get easy laughs? We were just doing the after a punchline. That's just having no confidence in your punchline. You get a laugh off an The other one I hate is fucking name specificity.
Yes.
Where you just have a line
Yeah.
and it doesn't get a laugh, so you put
Suzanne.
Colin.
Yeah.
You know the one that that
Neil.
that will lose me instantly as an
Debbie.
audience
Mhm.
member, somebody who's just like I'm watching, is somebody tells a joke and then it doesn't hit and they're like, I like that one.
Oh.
I've been doing that so much lately, and I fucking hate
I
it.
like that one.
It's become a nervous tick at this point.
It kind of
but-
just makes me not
mean,
like the comic as much. I kind
Yeah.
of just check out a little bit.
Or even worse, and you don't do this, Georgia. So,
These are all things that none of us
this
do.
is now an
No, but-
intervention for me.
but like sometimes it'll be even like more angry than I like that one. It'd be like
yeah.
that's a good one.
Oh my
That's
God,
that's a
so
good
fucking-
joke.
Yeah, if you're
You know.
That's the Trevor move.
actively
Oh, yeah.
combating
That
the
one was
audience.
genius. You
That's
guys didn't like that, but
Yeah, I
that's
did.
actually really
That
funny.
that one was really funny.
Or like these aren't even jokes. These are just like when people say that like these aren't even jokes. It's like you're right.
Okay, another one.
The-
I'm gonna be misogynistic for a second.
Go for it. Well, I might be talking about. Go for it.
Men are curdling up in their boots because I just talked about my pussy.
Curdling up.
My vagina's too strong for these white men in the audience.
Hey, that was only 3 months in, and I only did that set for like
Okay,
3 weeks.
I will.
I'm thinking of
but-
several other.
I
really good
know, no,
comics.
May I
it's okay.
step
I
in
mean,
as the ethnic? Well, actually, Blake, you can go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't really judge anyone for their open mic fucking joke savers. You know.
No, yeah, we all
Yeah,
have
on a show,
parachutes.
though.
We all
Yeah.
ha- yeah,
Yeah,
no,
just a
that's-
way to lighten the blow of a fucking punchline
Yeah.
not work. If you're doing it on shows or that's part of your
Consistently.
planned sets or something.
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not
well,
good.
and that's something I run into, and this is something I hate, but I've noticed a lot of women do it, and it's a nervous tick
Mhm.
that I have started doing on shows where, like, I used to have this, like, planned line of, like, lowering expectations and, like, oh, like, I think I said on a set the other day that, like, this was, like, a pity spot, and I just fucking hate that. Like, as soon as it comes out of my mouth, I'm like, I really hate this. But, like,
Mhm.
I've noticed that there are a lot of women who at the beginning of a show set will make some kind of reference to, like, don't expect this to be good. And I think it just cuts the room.
No,
it
and
cuts
yeah.
the air, and, like, it doesn't really help. You know, like,
because they're trying to be related. It's trying to like humanize them,
yeah,
but
but
it honestly.
it ends up coming across as, like, you know how there's a stereotype that, like, women apologize for a lot and everything. It's like
Mhm.
women grab a mic on a show and we're like,
Immediately,
sorry,
I'm sorry.
here.
Yeah, like no, we
I-
paid to see you. You
like,
were on the flyer.
Yeah,
like, we're-
exactly. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's one that I'm really trying to get rid of, 'cause I can, like, feel when it's, like, cooking in my
Oh,
brain
yeah.
before a show.
No,
And
it's like a-
only when I'm nervous for them. Like, I don't
Oh,
do it
yeah.
on all of them, but if it's, like, a bigger show and I'm like, I have to do this well,
Mhm.
that
No,
it comes out.
Dude, as the resident ethnic comedian, I will provide my parallel. Yeah, it's like whenever, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, but like when people come out and they're like, all right, okay, where are all my white people at? Or like, where are the black people at? Or like, this is like, okay, there's too many white people for this joke to land or what. I'm like, just no, fucking tell the joke. Just say, plus like, white people know about black people. They know the shit we're up to, all right? We're in a lot of movies. We have a lot of there's a lot of documentation. Like, if you say Jerry curl, people know what the fuck you mean. Like, that's the other thing too. For me, it's like, and this is just general, when like you insult the audience's intelligence. It's like, oh, you
You do that more
I
than
just-
anyone.
sorry, I just
More than anyone.
I wish
where
I
you-
wish that my side glare could have come through the microphone because
where are you guys from? Erie? Next.
okay, fair enough.
Where are you guys from? Pittsburgh? Next.
Well, it's
something,
because-
something interesting. Something interesting.
It's because I say this that I understand.
I think one other thing before we talk about something else is another thing I hate, and I do. Everybody does it sometimes. I just hate like breaking like getting into like meta type shit on a mic, because for me personally, I don't know. It's a performance.
Yeah.
Like, you should be performing, and comments like, "This isn't going well," or I don't know, or like
What's it called, like diegetic or something?
just like taking yourself out of like the actual performance of it, and you're like, then you're making like meta comments about your own set or the audience or stuff like that.
Well,
I
but
can
there is
see
a line.
everybody
if
does that.
if it's a mic where there's only comics in the room, I think that's where I do that the most.
Oh, sure.
is
But
like,
I mean, there's also like you don't want it to seem like a performance, you know? I like-
There's a
comfort
line.
level, I think. Yeah, because like Blake, you were really good at being like natural on stage. Like it's like a natural delivery.
If I'm like 7
but-
drinks deep.
Oh,
Indeed.
that's another thing I want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that is actually that's a good point. But I don't know. I think mics are like the playground, so I think you get a little more leeway with
For
that.
sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But I do see where it can be overused.
Well,
like
mainly it's just like, well, that one didn't land.
Well, yeah, we
like-
know. We were
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
We
we all
were
felt
also
it.
we were all 10 seconds in the past, dude.
yeah.
Yeah. I
But
don't know.
all right, drinking before mics or shows.
I used to think, and for the listening audience, I'm on probation. And I have not. I do not drink on probation. I
Word.
used to do comedy in another life using substances, and
Mm.
I thought it made me better. And I've been doing sober comedy for a long time now, and I will never look back. I don't think I'll ever drink at a mic ever again until
Word.
until I'm
I
after.
say that's
Listen,
weak.
until at least I'm done.
That's what I would call
I-
that. Weak.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. So like the best sets I've ever had on shows were when I was completely sober, and I usually have a beer for immediately getting off the stage. But
Yeah,
they are the best shows I've done.
Yeah.
As just complete sober, and even like the show where I said pity spot, right? Like the rest of the set was great.
Yeah.
And like it was because I was totally sober. However, if I'm testing a new bit, I will have 2 beers before I go up because that's at a mic and that's me just trying to be comfortable because I get so nervous when I'm running something new that I feel like
Yeah.
it gives you that little extra like relax
Yeah, that
thing,
you can
which
kinda
I
slip
used to
into it.
have to do when I was doing comedy in Denver. I would
Mhm.
do a shot of tequila and drink a beer, and then I was like, I'm in the pocket. Let's go.
Yeah.
I feel like being blasted adds some a layer
That
to my
can't be
persona.
replicated
Yeah.
in
Like
any
they
No,
need to
I agree.
see that my life is crumbling.
I mean, there's depending on what your comedy style is, seeming a little bit tipsy can add to the character of it for sure. It's definitely a flavor, you know.
Mhm.
That's why for newer stuff, or if I'm just gonna get up there and like I don't know something awful happened and I just want to rant for a bit, like I have a few key points, but I'm just gonna rant.
Mhm.
That's a good drunk set.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The only thing I would say is like, I think you get habituated to like your pre-feeling before a set. So I mean, there's like a range of what people feel. Some people feel extremely nervous and anxious,
Mhm.
and then they use alcohol to simmer that down, and they go up on stage and they have a great set. But I think that does lead to a small level of like low dependence
Mhm.
on
Mhm.
alcohol to calm those nerves. Like I have been doing like. I used to feel that way too, you know, and I would have a beer, like I just need to settle down a little bit.
Mhm.
But now I do almost a mic every day,
Mhm.
sober for months and months and months. I have almost zero anxiety before I go on stage.
Yeah, or at least you just get used to the anxiety.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you can sit with it a little
Yeah,
bit
because
better.
I had really bad stage fright initially, and I was doing it so sporadically at the beginning.
You never
that
get a
every
chance
time
to-
You never get comfortable.
Yeah, and that's
Whereas
yeah.
like if I have like a span of time, like I had COVID one week, and
Mhm.
when I got back to a mic, I was like weirdly nervous
Oh,
again,
yeah.
just because I took 1 week off.
No, yeah, dude,
and
I
it was
took
the
a month
only
off
week
and it
I
was
took off. Yeah, then I don't know.
wanted to vomit
Yeah.
at Parkway. I was like, this is
Oh,
awful.
what do you guys? How do you all feel? Excluding people on probation, about stoned sets, because I've been told several times by people that like they can only do it stoned, or they've told me that I'll pause in between jokes if I'm stoned, but I can't. I tried, I think, 2 sets the entire year stoned, and both of those were horrific because I just could not remember
You
what the
can't
next
fucking
line
think
was.
any. Yeah, you're literally
and
yeah.
my brain just doesn't work. Like,
I already wrapped
does.
that into the last question.
Fair enough. Fair
Alright.
enough.
I
fair
am
enough.
drunk and high.
Yeah.
For all my
But-
sets.
But I don't know. Like I've had people say like, you know, you'll pause more, you'll do, but it's just not. I don't have the function
Yeah, I can't.
with it.
I could never.
There's too much to
I'm-
keep track of.
If I smoke a little bit of weed, I am silent for the rest of the night.
Yeah, very. This is gonna be my "Does everyone hate me?" set.
No,
Well,
really.
Does anybody? Does everybody? Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
can't smoke and do stand up. I can't. Also, this whole even writing, I have to be so boringly completely sober. I need to have had 3 square meals. I need to everything. Not everything needs to be perfect. It's I need to have a glass of water and an aspirin, and that's it.
I'm actually the opposite. I think Hemingway. Right drunk, edit sober.
That's not a terrible. I don't know. I feel like I need to be able to.
I come up with my best stuff middle of the night, haven't slept in 40 hours, just shaking.
Okay, yeah. Sleep deprivation is a whole other
Yeah.
whole other
Chain
monster.
smoking, yeah.
Yeah.
To quote the great Lewis Cole, the weird part of the night.
Yeah, the witching hour. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, but maybe this is such a lame question, but how do people come up with their ideas? How do people come up with, because Georgia, you very much something happens, I'm going to write about it. Something happens. No, that's it's
Yeah,
not
or I remember something and then
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So-
something is in your brain.
And
you
then?
think as a woman, you think.
Yeah, as your woman brain, your woman thoughts. How does
Yeah.
that work?
As a woman, how do you?
Usually
what's
there
going on in
is
there?
some kind of trigger moment or whatever where
Mhm.
I'm all right, I'm angry enough. I write angry a lot.
Yeah,
My best sets have been written very angry,
Mhm.
and when the mood strikes, I'm just ready to do it. But I will say I also function really well on a deadline. So if something happens and I have
a window to catch it almost.
yes,
I see.
before a mic, then I will go
Mhm.
and just tear into whatever it is. And then I have a tendency to put things up that I wrote literally. I used to only write on the way to mics because I really work on a deadline.
Mhm.
Which that kind of writing works if you're going to 4 mics a week.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Where you can punch it up as you go. But that's why my first run of anything, that's why I'm so nervous, because I just wrote
Yeah,
it.
it's literally hot off the.
Yeah.
I can't. I literally. I've tried. I have the shit about my psych ward stuff, but I'm so detached from it. Not detached. It happened to me, but I don't really talk about how okay, what was I actually feeling when I got committed, and that I can't talk about my feelings on stage. I can't address anything emotional.
How do you feel right now?
So anyways,
For the listening audience, Zivian just shit himself.
Talking about writing with deadlines, though, that's kind of why I'm in the habit of going fucking last. I used to go to every mic. I would get there 2 hours early, and I would go last. So I would just come up with shit the whole
attest to
time.
this.
That makes sense.
Many times, me and Blake are at Parkway at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah.
That is true. That is
I
true.
want to go to a 5:30 hangout.
That's not fun.
We don't really hang
Actually,
out.
How
We
do you
just
guys feel about writing in groups though? Because I keep trying to do that, and I feel sometimes if the mood's right, I have the energy for it, but also
I think I think me and Zivian have tried to write many times.
Oh yes.
And there's
Men's
definitely
coffee.
there's some things you get, but I think it's more. I think it's fun to edit with people.
It's fun to
or-
edit.
Yeah.
It's good to
you gotta come to the table with
Yeah,
something.
That's
You
it.
can't
Yes.
You
sit
can't
down
just
and
be
let's
like,
come up with
"Hey,
jokes,
yeah,
guys.
Yeah, because
not
for me,
quite.
to answer the writing question for
It's
me
for punch
too,
up.
for me everything is very I think very laterally and very referential. So
Mhm.
I'll get I guess the kernel of an idea as a shower type thought,
Mhm.
and then I'll get that before it leaves my brain. I'll put it in my phone, and then I don't even really think about it, but things will just kind of come that kind of go dovetail off of that, or kind of naturally from there. But so it's kind of like a big net that
Yeah.
I just capture a lot of things throughout the week, and then I do have writing sessions where I try to think a little bit more vertically and okay, this thing.
You're using the
look at this.
autismophrenia.
Mhm.
paradigm here.
I do think about that a lot.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
But yeah, I just I think a lot of people, I can't just. It's very hard unless you have a cup of coffee and you really sit down for 3 hours at a coffee shop
Yeah.
to be yes, this is my joke, and then I'm going to do all my premises and then my mid stuff and then
you
my
have to have
punches.
fucking crazy fucking monk-like focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With fucking internet now.
I would say
Yeah.
no. I would say I'm very for joke writing. I like being with people. I like us working together. But yeah, it has to be
Like a
punch
s-
up. I already have something. I'm like, I will literally ask like, okay, I have this punch. This word is not hitting. Like, what do you? And then that's when the other person comes in. I'm like, okay, that makes sense.
I think a lot of people don't realize too how much writing happens just by performing. Like,
Yeah.
Like you go up with some shit thing, and you know like there's some legs here.
Yeah.
I have no idea where this is going.
Yeah.
And you go up and you bomb with it, and then especially if you're doing it the same set like 3 times in a night, you go up and you're like something a little bit more, and then like the third mic is like, especially if it's like a hang mic, like it's only Comedyinz.
You can Parkway or something. Yeah.
Or like St. Clair.
Yeah, and your nerves are gone by the second.
Yeah,
third
you
mic.
can
You're
kind
just
of think
fucking around
clearly.
more.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I'll definitely like probably like 2 weeks ago, I trying to write this joke and I put it down because I don't think it's gonna work. But like I got up with it at Scarps and then like, oh man, that was so stupid. Like I got like halfway through and I was like, I'm gonna actually eject on this joke.
Yeah.
And do something else. Yeah.
Well, actually, maybe that's. How do you know when to do that though? Because there's some stuff where I'm like, I just need to like right now. This is just a boring part of the joke, and I haven't really written it well. But like, I know I'm just gonna get through the whole thing. When do you know to be like?
I think
I'm just gonna stop talking. I'm just gonna pivot.
I think the last time I full ejected on a bit was I tried to do a bit that did really well at Parkway. It was about school shootings. But then it just completely bombed so hard at 565 that the host at the time told everybody to turn to the person beside them and give them a hug. And I think sometimes, like, that one I've kind of tabled, though. I think sometimes it's, like, you got to know, like, where your writing skills are at, whether you can tackle, like, something that
Yeah. No,
tense, but, and the other part is just, I don't, if they don't laugh enough times at certain mics, and like we talked about this last time, but like the types of mics. So if it bombs at all of them,
certainly
probably
take
not.
it off the
That's another important topic.
I would shelf my favorite jokes. You know, because they'll only work at Parkway, or they only work when I'm fucking blasted, and feeling cathartic and shit like that.
When you're really in your.
That's the hardest thing about like our type of comedy. Like for the listening audience, we do this type of comedy called gallows humor. And not many people even understand what that is.
I mean,
and neither do I.
Yeah,
I'm
a little rusty. If only there was someone I could ask.
Yeah, but I think
tell you what laughter can do.
Hey, baby, do you know what laughter can do for you?
Yeah.
I had one other comment on the writing bit, and that's that I find bits along the way just by having conversations with people. So that's why I really like the hang mic.
Mining from shit your friends say.
No,
That's
no.
one of the tenets
what
of
I
comedy.
was going to say is that I do so much like experiential comedy, right? That I'll tell somebody a story.
That's better. That's experience. I'm an experiential comedian.
Yeah, whatever.
It's like with crystals and shit.
Yeah, it's because I am not observant. But I will tell people a story outside of a mic, and the amount of times that I've had people be like, that's a bit, right? And then you're just like, oh, damn it. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And that's
It's easier to catch what?
That's a funny. Not even super even related. Just like doing stand-up comedy. Do you guys like weaponize your bits and other? I don't think I do that often, but it's a funny idea.
I don't try to do it,
You
but
mean
I
like
think comics, when you get a group of them together, they're all just spitting stuff. I
Or
mean,
yeah.
it's
Or I mean, like you're hanging out with a date and like.
Oh,
or like
and
you
think
use
of a bit.
material. Like you use like something in your backlog.
no.
I don't think I've done that ever, but like.
You know
there
what?
definitely has to be people who do that.
You know what I will say really does bother me when I am on dates is the whole like they'll be like, oh, is this gonna be like, are you gonna talk about me? Is this gonna like come up? Is this are you gonna say something? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I've had a girl ask me to tell a joke on a date.
Well, that's. I mean, you should. That's
that's
polite.
pretty common.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think I mean, all my shit is fucking crazy, so I was like,
Babel.
psych ward, jail, fucking
spaceship
pubes,
Jesus, yeah.
fucking.
I hate the tell me a joke line, though, because all my bits are not that.
So my grandma.
I'm like, you got 10 minutes.
Finish
You
it,
got
George.
10 minutes.
So my
I just want you to know,
grandma's-
I can't possibly disappoint you anymore.
Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's well, that's another thing. Like family members will say that, like, "Oh, I bet you go up there," and I bet
my
you.
parents. Oh, I've done my whole shit in front of my family because it's just funny. My family like very conservative, very and ethically and also like religious, everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll be doing my shit and like they'll just be wincing, and then my aunt will be like laughing her ass off, and it's a great vibe.
Yeah, my family. I think I've only talked about. Well, no, I hash a lot of their shit out on stage, so I don't know.
They know what's
kinda-
out there.
But half of them want me to, and then the
Mm.
half that I have talked about are like, please stop, please make this end. And I keep telling the other half, you don't want to. You don't want to be a part of it.
No, I don't say anything that could. I don't incriminate anybody. I don't.
They're not incriminated. Okay, maybe.
So as we're wrapping up, any last topics on you guys at the top of the dome you want to get to? We've got like 5 minutes left on the pod.
Blake, you got anything?
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Okay, well, I think the last topic we'll wrap with this, because this is something I have been thinking a lot for like recently, like turning what we do into content, turning that content into something consumable on social media, like
the pipeline.
Just, I mean, you guys do it a bit more than me. I mean, I've been on, like, I've done TikTok for a period of months, but like before I did stand-up comedy, doing like other types of shit. But like, it also comes to a point where, like, you know, we're in the green room tier, and like we need to upgrade.
Nobody knows what this means.
Yeah, it's a little. I think we all just chuckle at it. I'm a little confused.
Yeah, it's esoteric, but like, so yeah. I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on doing, like, taking sets, turning them into reels or TikToks, and trying to launch from there?
Well, I mean, I'm very choosy. I was talking to someone today about, you know, I could have like a 15-minute set, and I could only really think of one part of it I'd be willing to make into a clip, even if the show went well. I feel like I have to cross all these different criteria off in order to post something. You know, like, was the lighting good? Was the angle good? You know, did they laugh at this? But can you like hear everybody laugh? It's like, is it peak? Is the audio peaking? Do I have bad, you know, tags here or good tags? Whatever. You know, I have no compunction about posting. I'm just very choosy about what I do.
Yeah. No, I totally get that too. Like, there's just so many factors that go into a good stand-up clip.
Yeah.
And stand-up clips on a whole kind of suck.
Yeah. Well, and that's
Yeah.
another thing. Like, one bad clip to me is it already, like, it's like backwards effort. Like, it undoes progress. So like, yeah, I want it to be good, but I just like really, 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 really don't want the things that I post to be like bad. So I'm just very. I don't know.
Wouldn't know that by watching his reels.
I was gonna say I just post them all. No, but I just look at it as like, I post it, I see what happens, and then if it's a total flop, you can remove it when you want. But my big thing is I'm careful about, is this a joke that I'm gonna want to punch up later, kind of a thing. 'Cause I've had jokes that have like grown over time, and I end up taking down old versions of them. But
the only other thought too, like that I think about, like, posting content or doing stand-up skip, I think it gives you like an air of like authority or credibility.
Yeah, like,
Especially-
I'm
especially-
visible.
especially
I'm
if
here.
we're trying to get on shows. Like,
Yeah.
I post reels. I'm serious about being a stand-up comic.
I have like
you
a
know?
body of work. Yeah, in some
I
sense.
mean,
yeah.
it is a portfolio too.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah.
I don't really think about that often, but it is.
No,
you
it's
know?
well, and that's
Yeah.
it's like with your earlier thing, George. Yeah, like that's why, like, yeah, the bits I post are very like, this is the whole joke. It's very bite-sized. Here you go. Like I wouldn't. There's jokes I have that crush, but I don't want to post them because what if I? First of all, they're longer, and second of all, what if I make them better?
I think there's like risk too of like people, I guess, could take the joke, you know, if you post it. But I also think that, like, if there's like a question about if like a joke is out in the open, you know, and then you just post it.
You're
so
like,
you claimed it,
literally
you're like,
right here.
Literally,
Yeah,
I gotta be honest.
Yeah,
but
No ambiguity.
I've bitched about this to at least one of you. I think someone might have stolen one of my jokes recently, but they posted a fucking clip of it. So
That's-
it's like they
Well,
claimed it.
I was just about to
Yeah.
say,
And
I think I would.
oh, that makes me mad.
If
Yeah.
you posted your clip first and then they stole it, I would honestly say that's an opportunity for you to make a TikTok that says,
Addressing.
"Hey, this guy stole my joke," and like that could potentially get hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
Like, dumb shit
Yeah.
like that gets hundreds of thousands. of
Oh,
views.
there's all the there's all the
Well,
beef
and
that you
that's-
can mine for
that's the other
shit.
thing. Like I wasn't big on posting, but I posted my silly little Goldilocks bit, and people got really angry, and
Yeah.
it got me a lot of reach. And all these people in the
Yep.
comments saying women aren't funny and you're a fat fucking lesbian helped me and helped my account.
Yeah, you look like a fat lesbian school shooter.
Yeah.
To end on this, so
To end on that.
to end on lesbians. They should be yes. And
Let's finish on some lesbians.
let's finish some
I'm
lesbians
leaving.
off tonight. Anyways, these guys, they got to go to a show in about an hour, so we got to wrap up here. Last time we talked about what we were going on in the pod, and we haven't even released that episode yet, so I don't know if there's really any point in talking about what we're going to be doing in the next month or so, but thanks for listening. If you guys have any last things to wrap up as we wrap up, this is the second episode of the Comedyinz podcast, a Pittsburgh-based stand-up growth podcast.
Yeah.
Unlock your potential.
I have absolutely nothing to plug.
Very nice.
Have a good night.
Hell yeah.
Say bye, minorities.
Bye.
Bye.
Say goodbye.
That was fun.
I just hit the stop.
That was a great intro at Parkway.
Zivian, what?
Comedian
I just hit
Riesling
stop.
went
The stop.
viral.
Yeah.
I was like,